All right, everyone. Welcome back to Barton Means Business. This is episode 4. All right,
Can
we're
you believe it?
we're
Wow,
just about a month
already.
in. Yeah, exciting. It's good to be back, and wow, we're on a roll.
I feel like we're back in the studio now because I'm actually in Wilson, and it's great to be back. But last week we were on location in Raleigh, so that was fun. But it's always nice to be back home.
Well, we've got some good stuff for y'all this week, so let's jump right in.
I have to tell you, folks, that we are coming back to you the night before we all return from fall break. So everybody's been away from campus this past week. So it was kind of lonely being around the Heinz building, Heinz Hall, where the School of Business and Innovation is. So it'll be great to have the students back and at full force.
Okay, so we had our consortium calls that we have. We have our data analytics and we have our neurodata call as well. So we've got two really great groups of people that we get together with on a biweekly basis and lots of great conversations there. So let's start with data analytics. What did you want to recap on that?
What I love about the data analytics call is we get a chance to talk about all things data. And these days, that usually means something to do with AI. It seems to pervade every conversation we have, every discussion we have. So we were talking about one of our colleagues, Dr. Scott Gerard. What a wonderful fellow. He actually spoke at the event we were participating with last week at All Things Open conference. And I was very impressed that out of about 1,000 submissions to try to get in on the stage there at the conference, he was one of the less than 100 or so that got selected. And he came up with this really great little line, and I hope you will play it here, or at least we'll show the clip of it. It's pretty
Sure.
incredible.
One of the things that's been bugging me is we have neural networks for learning and we have, rule-based systems and things for reasoning. And some people have combined those into something called neurosymbolic computing. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not. It's a pretty cool idea. Still seems kind of researchy to me. I know that IBM and MIT have a big thing that's been going on for years with it. But what I didn't like about it is that there are a lot of learning algorithms that are not neural networks, and there's a lot of reasoning components that aren't symbolic. So, like even just equations and code, right? So, I came up with this term called Learno Resonic AI. I can see some of you are kind of rolling your eyes, and that's good. It's very pretentious, but it does include more things. Were you saying something, Joe?
Sorry, the sun's in my eyes. I'm not rolling my eyes.
So I just think that that's a more inclusive way to do it. And I think there's some interesting orchestration patterns that we can use that aren't research grade kind of things. Like let's use a learning component like a neural network to extract features from the real world, from messy images, from messy text, whatever else, and just extract symbolic features from those.
All right, so our friend Scott has created a brand new term, and we love it. And that's the thing about Gen AI, especially. We've got all this AI work we've done for decades, really, but particularly in the last 5, 10 years. And then suddenly, the past 3 years, we are adding the Gen AI, the generative AI, to it. And it's really interesting to see how those things kind of hit and collide together in ways that create new and exciting terms, as Scott was coming up with. What do you think, Becky?
I thought Scott did such a great job at not only explaining that, but he started talking about agriculture and how applying agents in real life situations can really make a difference in things that we were doing. And he just gave great examples of basically applied AI in real time. And it was really great to see him do that and see the response he got because I've had some interesting things happen trying to get AI to bend to my will, maybe is one way to think about it. But you're trying to get it to do things, some tasks for you, and it will sometimes it introduces errors. It does a lot of great things. It helps summarize stuff. It helps me write things when I'm, trying to do something really quickly, like, hey, I need to help write a post and summarize this, summarize that. But sometimes it goes out and grabs something that I didn't tell it to grab. And I have to say, nope, don't do that. So we're going to have some more conversations on that, and that's going to play into down the road as we, continue on with the AI course and certifications and things like that. All of those things are going to have to be a part of those conversations.
Conversations and context. I think those are the two major pieces. And I think Scott kind of hit the nail on the head as well with the introduction of model context protocol, or MCP. I think that's going to be a key part of what we're doing as far as tools nested in tools, if you will. This idea of there are tools that we can reach out, like for an arithmetic function, for example. If it's something mathematical, you don't want to do that in a typical GBT, but you can call it via an MCP and have it done correctly for you. So I really am excited about coming to explain a lot of those things, particularly with regard to what did I just say in the past 15 seconds. MCP, GPT, literacy is so important for everyone, particularly if you don't use it every day. It's important to have this kind of fluency with regard to all things AI. And I'm looking forward to producing some of those things with the folks here at Barton College and the School of Business and Innovation. And I think we have the ability to kind of create these conversations that lead to collaborations, right? So I'm looking forward to all that.
And those conversations lead to connections, which lead to commitments. But it's a
You're so
conversation
funny.
for another time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
she's teasing our 5 C's, folks, and we'll do those in a future session.
Yeah. All right. So, in addition to data analytics, we also had the neurodata consortium.
Well, yeah, really, really quickly on that one. What a wonderful group of folks that is. Now, you might think it's the same thing, like neurodata, data, it's all data, right? All things data. Well, of course it is. But our focus with the neurodata consortium is things that are impacting and affecting our population. So we had a really great discussion on some new technologies the other day.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing some more in the next few weeks, maybe some demos on some products that we hear are coming up in the near future.
Very exciting. And I'm looking forward to getting some of those demos on campus as well. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with our students and our faculty and staff all the neat things that are happening with regard to neurodata devices and technology.
Great. And up next, I think you had an update on the MBA program.
Right. Dr. Greg Bauer is doing great things with our MBA program. So, just in case you aren't aware, we now have a 1 year MBA. We're very excited, and it's all online. We're getting applications every day, which is really amazing to me because historically you would apply in a certain time and you'd have all your scores and things like that. And so, how we're doing this now is really exciting. I love how Greg has streamlined the application process. I really appreciate how pragmatic this MBA product is. And we're looking forward to sharing some results and maybe some clips of some student presentations and that sort of thing coming up in future versions of this podcast.
How exciting. That's so much better than, having to take 2 years or longer to get a graduate degree. So you can just
I
be
think
off
the
and
fun
running.
part too is what Greg has built is this idea of a pragmatic MBA product. It really is for the working individual. This is for the person who will be involved in business straight away. So it's an exciting product. It's a really good product, and it's a good learning opportunity for our existing students as well as folks that are coming to Barton for the first time.
The good thing about this, as a reminder for folks who may not know, this is 100% online. So it really does help for working adults who want to get a master's degree, especially an MBA, but just can't go to a campus 3 times a week, twice a week, or things like that. I mean, this is ideal for working adults.
There's a link to Dr. Greg Bauer directly.
Absolutely. All right. I think that's all we had for what has been happening. And then next, it's what's coming up.
I'm very excited to tell you that by the time this is published, I'm going to be on stage at the Barton College Library talking about movement. And I'm not going to tip off what my presentation is going to be about, but let's say we're going to do a deep cut. We're going to go way, way back to talk about how physical strength and balance and mobility can impact your mental strength, agility, and mobility. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you folks in the coming days. But I was invited by Dr. Gerard Lang to come speak. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great. So I guess next week we'll have a recap of that.
Yeah.
All right. And let's see what else was coming up this week. I believe you're planning on doing one of our first Business of series. And you might want
Right.
to talk just briefly about what that is to remind people if they haven't heard any of our previous episodes. And then what are you recording on?
Sure. So you may recall us talking about creating a lecture series that's typically virtual. We may do some in-person things, that sort of thing, but we want to create a curated environment of video interviews for our students to check in, check out, listen to, learn from industry professionals. And I'm calling it the business of. And then sometimes I'll say dot, 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 or ellipses. But the idea is that the business of whatever we're talking about that week, it could be the business of shoes. It could be the business of food service. It could be the business of cybersecurity or the business of blockchain. But our first one, okay, you ready for this one? It's going to be the business of wellness. And I'm excited about this because wellness can come in all sorts of packages and permutations, right? So, this idea that wellness could be health sciences, it could be financial, it could be personal, it could be very physical. I'm looking forward to sitting down with a professional to talk about the business of wellness. And that's all I'm going to say at this point.
All right. Looking forward to that and seeing how that turns out. And what else is going on this week that you're excited to talk about?
The other series that I've been calling the Valued Voices series, you may recall this from our last discussion. I've selected two of our Barton College School of Business and Innovation professors to head up this next series of lectures. And again, those will be online as well, virtual, that sort of thing. But in this particular case, we may once in a while have some live recordings, if that makes sense, because the Valued Voices series, unlike the Business of series, has a very particular element, and that is there's a connection to Barton. So maybe they're alumni, maybe they are members of the Wilson community, or maybe they're staff, but they have a connection, some sort of connection to Barton College. And our two professors are going to be talking about those and leading those for us.
I'm looking forward to getting that kicked off. Okay. So there's one more thing I think you have coming up this week, another presentation. Boy, it's been a busy few weeks. So
The topic will be, of all things, AI driven partnerships, particularly for folks that are in the higher education procurement realm. So it's exciting because it's a way to give back a little bit to other higher education professionals across the country in a way that they probably weren't expecting. So, yeah, AI driven partnerships, accelerating AI driven procurement tools and processes. So that's what I'll be talking this Wednesday.
that's really cool. A lot of different ways to drive efficiencies with all the new tools that are out there.
I think the critical element of that, Becky, is this idea of it helps with strategic decision making. It helps with peeling back the layers of what is real versus what is espoused. This idea of a vendor will sell you something that they think you need or they need to sell. A partner won't do that. A partner will actually listen to what your needs are, what your specific needs of your campus, and then help you craft a solution. And I think that's the biggest difference that I'm going to be conveying this week.
Well, good. I think that was everything. Was there anything else that we missed?
No, I'm just looking forward to getting back with the team. They've all been off doing their own thing during fall break. It'll be good to see everyone back at Heinz Hall.
Yeah, campuses are always just a little sad during breaks. A little quieter, a little somber, and then the energy goes back up when all the students are back.
Talk about energy. We'll be careening into homecoming at the end of this week. So come by Barton College next Saturday. We're going to have a School of Business and Innovation booth of all things. So drop by, wear your Barton gear, and come cheer on the football team to what we hope will be a third consecutive win. They won last night, so they're two in a row now. So we're looking forward to a third win coming up this Saturday.
Well, that's going to be exciting and a lot of energy. So, yeah, just before Halloween, and all the energy that comes from that too.
So much coming along, so much more coming in the new semester as well. But we have lots to go. And what was it that Robert Frost used to say, Becky? You said you were an English major. What would something that Robert Frost would say in a moment like this?
Miles to go before I sleep. I believe that's the
Yeah,
one.
that's exactly right. All right. Thanks, folks.
All right, we'll see you next week, y'all.